This is 6 News Now, sponsored by the University of Michigan.
So at this hour with a developing story in Lansing, there's a heavy police presence outside of a home on the south side of the city. Now take a look at your screen. This is what it looked like when 6 News got to the scene around 5:30 this morning. It was near the intersection of Pleasant Grove and Jolly. There were officers from the Lansing Police Department and Michigan State Police, as well as Ingham County Sheriff's Office deputies. There's no word yet on exactly why they were called there, but you can stay with 6 News on air, online, and on our 6 News app as we learn more. Also, news that came in the past hour, the Michigan State men's basketball game against rival Michigan has been postponed. It was scheduled for this afternoon. U of M Athletics Department made the announcement less than 2 hours ago, saying after testing on Friday night, they did not have 7 scholarship players who were available. According to the release, the schools will now work to find a new date to schedule their next game. The next meeting was already scheduled for the end of the month in East Lansing. Well, another day, another record of COVID-19 cases as the state blew by its previous high of more than 13,000 cases per day. In just the past 2 days, the state reported more than 40,000 cases of the virus. It's an average of more than 20,000 cases per day. There were also 259 new deaths reported. And the positivity rate is also at a record high. It was up to 31.5% as of Wednesday.
Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather on the Sixes, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Well, it is definitely another very chilly start to your Saturday morning here, not only here in mid-Michigan, but actually across the board for the Midwest. Here in Lansing, we're waking up to temperatures right now of 14 degrees. They did cool down slightly between our hour break. We're at 14 degrees again here in Lansing, as well as up in St. John's. 12 degrees the current temperature down in Hillsdale, as well as over in Mason. The winds outside anywhere between 5 to 15 miles per hour, steadily coming out of the southeast. So when we factor in those winds, even at 5 miles per hour up in St. John's, it actually does a number on our feels like temperature. It feels like 6 degrees up there, feeling like -1 degrees here in Lansing, -2 degrees the current feels like temperature down in Hillsdale. And that wind chill won't only be present in the morning hours, but actually as we head throughout the rest of the day today. The good news is satellite and radar is showing some mostly clear conditions here in mid-Michigan, so we are able to see that sun, and so temperatures will begin to warm just slightly as we head throughout the rest of the day today, seeing highs of 30 degrees, but we do have a low pressure system that's going to be entering into the region around 6 o'clock, sparking the reason for that winter weather advisory in the area, bringing some freezing rain, creating some very hazardous driving conditions. Now, when we factor in the winds as we head throughout the rest of the day today, you'll notice that in terms of our wind chills, we'll only feel like we're reaching a high in the mid to upper 20s for the region. Let's take a look at current traffic in the Lansing area. No major slowdowns on the roadways right now, and that same trend continues across the board for mid-Michigan. But again, with that freezing rain enters into the area, we will have some travel impacts later in the day, and not only on the roads, but also on the sidewalks as well.
Definitely. So if you got anything to get done, get it done in the morning, get it done earlier, it sounds like.
Yes, before 6 p.m. and you're good.
Sounds good. Okay, thanks, Kendall.
Introducing our new redesigned 6 News mobile app. Our new app features a sleek modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content, and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video, and a red light alert badge notifies you when we're streaming. Download or update our new local news app today. 6 News, here for you.
I'm Siobhan Klipfer, and if you're looking for a different kind of lunch break, check out the Daily Digital Debrief every weekday here for you at 12:30 on WLNS.com and on the 6 News app. It's a little bit of news, a little bit of weather, and a little bit extra. We'll see you.
In Michigan, the Omicron variant is fueling the surge in hospitalizations of children under the age of 5, which are now at their highest level since the start of the pandemic. Meanwhile, several states are hitting new records, including Florida, where cases are up 56% in the last 7 days. Here's CBS's Manuel Bojorquez.
Today, after much criticism, the CDC tried to clarify its guidance for those who test positive for COVID but no longer have symptoms, saying if they want to use a rapid test to determine whether to leave isolation after 5 days, it would be the best approach.
If it's positive, stay home, and if it's negative, please continue to wear your mask, because that does not mean you're no longer infectious.
As the CDC encourages people to get boosted when they're eligible, the FDA shortened the time between a second Moderna shot and a booster to 5 months, like it had for Pfizer's. Moderna's CEO said a 4th dose may be needed in the fall, but West Virginia is asking the CDC for a second round of booster shots now. This comes as Citigroup announced unvaccinated workers will be fired at the end of the month, becoming the first major Wall Street bank to enforce a vaccine mandate. Meanwhile, Omicron surge is pushing hospitalizations up in 46 states, rising 40% nationwide from the previous week's average. Florida today broke its single-day record for new cases with nearly 77,000. The state is being criticized for new guidelines discouraging testing for healthy individuals who have been exposed to COVID but show no symptoms, though scientists warn they can still spread it.
You don't want to be responsible for putting someone you love in the hospital.
And state officials are under fire for letting about 1 million test kits expire in a warehouse at the end of last month, when holiday demand for testing was high.
We tried to give them out prior to that, but there was not a demand for it.
There's a disturbing figure out. One study says up to 80% of Floridians will have caught COVID-19 by the time this Omicron wave is over. To ease demand at testing sites like this one, the White House and U.S. Postal Service are said to be finalizing plans to ship testing kits to U.S. households as early as next week. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Miami.
Introducing our new redesigned 6 News mobile app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content, and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video, and a red light alert badge notifies you when we're streaming. Download or update our new local news app today. 6 News, here for you.
We begin this half hour with an update on Brenden Santo. He's a Grand Valley State student who visited East Lansing the weekend of October 30th, but went missing and has not yet been found. The Red Cedar River has been the focus of the search for some time, and according to the family's official search page for Santo on Facebook, the river has been searched from the Beale Street Bridge all the way west to Clipper. They say more police efforts could continue next week. At this time, the police say there is no evidence of foul play, but that it still cannot be ruled out at this time. None of the items or clothes that Santo was wearing have been found. Family is asking for focus to move outside of the river as well. They also ask anybody who was in the area of Yakeley Hall that night or anywhere on campus to check their phones for pictures that Santo may be in to help with the search. Well, in the capital city, Brenden has resigned as the Lansing City Council member for the city's 1st ward. His resignation comes amid backlash from a text message conversation he had last year with a Mid-Michigan Black Lives Matter leader. In that text exchange, Betts insulted the man, used derogatory names, and suggested a face-to-face meeting between the two of them would lead to violence. City Council President Adam Hussein tells 6 News that the council plans to accept Betts' resignation on Monday. They will temporarily appoint someone who will hold the position until the next election cycle.
This is 6 News Now. We will begin in 60 seconds. Six News Now will begin in 30 seconds. This is 6 News Now, sponsored by the University of Michigan, Flint.